Good afternoon, I'm Mai Rodriguez. This is Newsfeed on the Bilyonaryo News Channel. We begin with the historic back-to-back gold medal wins of Filipino gymnast Carlos Yulo at the Paris Olympics. Yulo bagged his second gold medal in the men's vault on Sunday after ruling the floor exercise Saturday. Yulo's haul raises the country's Olympic gold medals to 3, which include Heidelin Diaz's weightlifting win in Tokyo in 2020. Filipinos in Paris are ecstatic over Yulo's gold run, calling it truly special for the Philippines.
You know what? We've traveled half the world to come here, and to see the to hear the Philippine national anthem play there was just unimaginable. I can't believe it would happen in my lifetime, and it wouldn't happen on this trip, but it did. I was praying to God that I cannot leave Paris without Philippines winning gold, and it happened. So I'm very, very thankful and very proud of Yulo.
Meanwhile, President Bongbong Marcos congratulates Carlos Zulo for his historic accomplishment at the Paris Games. On social media, the president said no words can express how proud Filipinos are of Yulo. He added that Filipinos all over the world stood united, cheering and rooting for our golden boy. As for Yulo, he thanked all those who supported him through his ups and downs.
Yeah, there's a lot of experiences that it was really tough for me also, like not only in gymnastics, on my personal life also. I'm really grateful that God gave me power to endure this kind of this ride. Like, I'm really grateful that I did not stop, and He gave me like hope and people who truly really believed and trust me. I kind of just did it today. I'm just beyond grateful.
Shifting gears now, public transport drivers and operators take part in a unity walk opposing a Senate resolution calling for the suspension of the public transport modernization program. The group gathered early at the Welcome Rotonda early morning and marched to Mendiola near Malacanang. They were initially blocked by police, but after negotiations, the group was allowed to proceed. According to Angat Kooperatiba at Korporasyon ng Alyansang Pilipino or AKAPMO, they want to tell the president not to discard the Senate's resolution and instead proceed with the implementation of the program. The unity walk resulted in traffic jams in some streets of the metro and affected commuters earlier. Let's check the situation now with Andrea Salve, our correspondent from DWAR Radio and Abante. Good afternoon, Andrea.
Magandang hapon na May. Nakalusot nga papuntang Mendiola ang mga grupo ng Consolidated Public Utility Vehicles sa kabila ng pagharang ng Manila Police District o MPD at malakas na buhos ng ulang nagdulot ng pagbaha sa kahabaan ng Espanya Boulevard kaninang umaga. Hindi naman nagtagal ang programa ng grupo at nagtapos din makalipas ang halos isang oras. Babalik na muna umano sila sa kanilang pamamasada ngayong araw, pero giit nito, hindi rito magtatapos ang patuloy nilang panawagan sa Pangulo para sa agarang pagbasura sa resolusyong inihain ng Senado na magsususpinde sa Public Transport Modernization Program o PTMP. Kasabay nito, pinawi naman ng Land Transportation Franchising and Regulatory Board o LTFRB ang pangamba ng ilang consolidated transport groups kaugnay sa nakabinding resolusyon. Ayon kay LTFRB Chairman Teofilo Guadis III, suportado ng Pangulong Bongbong Marcos Jr. ang programa. Nakausap na rin anya ni Transportation Secretary Jaime Bautista ang Pangulo at nananatili ang direktiba nitong ituloy ang modernisasyon. Balik sa iyo, Mai.
Maraming salamat, Andrea Salve ng DWAR Radio at Abante. In other news, Senator Robin Padilla has filed a petition at the Supreme Court, this to resolve a key issue in the 1987 Constitution on whether both houses of Congress should vote jointly or separately in discussing amendments to the Charter. Apart from the issue on voting, Padilla's petition also seeks the High Court's authoritative declaration on the required number of votes and whether the Senate and House should jointly convene when voting to call for a constitutional convention. Padilla is chairperson of the Senate Committee on Constitutional Amendments and Revision of Codes. Cavite is suing the owner of the fuel tanker MTKR Terranova. Governor John Vic Remulla says they wish to claim damages for what was suffered by fisherfolks in Cavite's coastal areas due to the oil spill from the sunken ship. The tanker was carrying 1.4 million liters of industrial fuel when it sank off Limay town in Bataan, July 25th, at the height of Super Typhoon Rina. The resulting oil spill reached the Cavite coastlines and affected fisherfolks' livelihood, prompting the province to declare a state of calamity in its coastal towns. Meanwhile, Cavite Senator Ramon Rila Jr. also calls for accountability from the owner of the sunken MTKR Terranova. In a statement, Rila says something must be done to avoid such an incident from happening again. Rila insists the owner of the tanker should be accountable and spearhead the cleanup efforts, as well as provide compensation to affected fisherfolks. 8 towns in Cavite were affected by the oil spill. A Vietnamese Coast Guard ship is in Manila for joint drills with its Philippine counterpart. Our reporter Beatrice de la Cruz joins us for more on this. Beatrice, go ahead.
Mai, the Philippine Coast Guard welcomes the arrival of the Vietnam Coast Guard ship CSB-8002. The vessel is in the country as part of efforts to establish mutual understanding, foster strong bilateral cooperation, and strategic partnership. Philippine Coast Guard spokesman Admiral Armand Balilio and Commodore Algie Ricafrente, Deputy Chief of Coast Guard Staff for International Affairs, say the visit honors the Memorandum of Understanding formed during President Bongbong Marcos' visit in Vietnam earlier this year and the bilateral agreement signed by the Philippine and Vietnam Coast Guards. That agreement includes promoting mutual trust and confidence and establishing a communications hotline. The PCG says it will conduct joint search and rescue exercises, fire and explosion prevention trainings with the Vietnamese Coast Guard within Manila Bay to foster maritime security. While both countries have overlapping claims in the West Philippine Sea, the PCG says the visit is not related to the matter. No joint operation has been laid on the table. The PCG is also expected to visit the Vietnam Coast Guard. Back to you, Mai.
Thank you, Beatrice de la Cruz reporting. Expects for a more accommodative stance on monetary policy locally and overseas could boost sentiment in the financial markets. This, according to the World Bank. In their latest monthly report, they stressed that sustained improvements in the inflation outlook could pave the way for monetary policy easing as early as this month. But they note the central bank remains cautious of spillovers in the financial market, such as exchange rate volatility. The Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas has said it's looking to implement 2 policy rate cuts this 2024 with a possible 25 basis point reduction on August 15th and another later in the year. That's as the BSP expects inflation to ease in the coming months, partly due to the lower import tariffs on rice. Lance Gokongwei's Universal Robina Corporation takes a big hit and pulls out from the Chinese market. URC says they suffered a net loss of 580 million pesos in the first half of the year after several of their firms in China ceased operations last June. URC had been selling cereals, oats, chips, and coffee in China under the ACES brand. This marks the company's second withdrawal from a foreign market in 3 years following their exit from Australia and New Zealand. Philippine and Spanish officials meet to explore opportunities to deepen bilateral relations and boost economic cooperation. Spanish Ambassador Miguel Delgado expressed Spain's keen interest to strengthen ties with the Philippines during a meeting with Finance Secretary Ralph Recto. The Finance Department says the ambassador stressed Spain's priority to establish new financial agreements, including government-to-government financing. Recto welcomed the proposals and saying he's open to facilitating partnerships between Spanish businesses and the Philippine government to attract investments. Britain will hold an international investment summit on October 14th. The British government says Prime Minister Keir Starmer will bring together up to 300 industry leaders to shore up investments in the UK. Britain's economy fell into a recession in the second half of 2023. Since then, Starmer has made economic growth the central mission of his government.
Will there be if social media firms do fail to take action?
Well, I think there's a discussion to be had, and it is a balance, and it needs to be the right balance, because social media is a fantastic opportunity, but it also carries responsibility, and that's the mature discussion that we've had. Impedes.
And those are the news this hour. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Stay tuned to Bilyonaryo News Channel for more top-of-the-hour news. Catch us on Free TV Channel 31 and also on our website, bnc.ph. Bilyonaryo News Channel, always on top.